Awesome.
All right, welcome everyone. We're just going to have a really casual talk, I think, about how content creators can help you level up your marketing game. Just going to talk a bit about how we individually work with brands and just hopefully inspire or learn from each other.
For sure.
That.
Each one of us kind of does something a little different, where we have different audiences, different things that we kind of specialize in. So I think it's going to be a good talk.
Yeah, maybe we should start with introductions.
Sure.
Do you want to start?
I'm Todd Jackson. I'm the better half of Q2C VR Gamer. We're a virtual reality podcast, and we do VR game reviews, tech reviews. We do developer interviews, all sorts of things in the XR, MR, spatial computing kind of world.
Isn't the other half in the room right now?
He is. He's right there. We also run a Facebook group with just under 200,000 members, which keeps us extremely busy as well.
Nice.
I'm GingasVR. I do a lot of TikTok shorts. I do a lot of weird stuff in VR. As you can see, I don't show my face. Yeah, that's about it. I just do weird stuff.
You are huge on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, stop
Short
it.
form. All right, so we are Cass and Chary. This is my partner, Chary, and wife. And we make long-form content, mainly on YouTube. And we are on all the other platforms as well, but it's mainly YouTube and then XR tech and gaming. Yeah. And so I do it full time right now, and Chary, she helps me out a lot.
Yeah, so I'm more behind the scenes at the events, the fun part, you know. And I'm actually a policy advisor for sustainability for the city of Rotterdam, but I love VR as well, so I'm really happy to help Cass with her VR stuff as well.
She does all the creative inputs and all the mental support, so big support. So I guess we can start with talking about how we all work with brands, because I'm genuinely curious about, because you're more podcasts focused.
Yeah, so it's definitely a different take when we don't do like commercials or anything like that. Like we do, like I said, people will come to us, come on the show, talk about their game, talk about their VR experience, or maybe a hardware or something that they've come out with, and they're just trying to get it out to the people, but have a conversation about it instead of just showing it, maybe in use. We talk about the history, how they became, a developer or a designer, and get a little bit more deep with what they're doing.
Cool. So you don't do any inserts or?
Nope. No, we don't do any commercial inserts or sponsorship inserts. It's all about the moment.
Okay, so people email you or you reach out to them?
Yeah, it depends. If we find something exciting, like something at AWE that we might see, we'll approach them, or we get emails all the time, whether it's coming directly to us or through our management company, and then we'll just go from there. It depends on what the product is.
Oh yeah, I'm generally curious about your process. Maybe we can talk about that later.
Sure.
How about you, Gingas?
How do I work with brands? They'll email me, and then we'll have a conversation. We'll go back about rates, and I like to go for more comedy-centric stuff because I feel like that's people connect with that more. So I do a lot of AI stuff too. So I like to implement talking and just kind of getting people engaged.
Yeah, but how do you pick what's comedy for?
Even if the game is not comedy focused, I like to make it funny, I guess, or try to make it funny, because I think that that'll get more clicks.
Okay, well, interested in the creative process on that as well.
Yeah.
So I guess we also on YouTube we try to do inserts, lots of integrations. So 60-second videos in or short, long-form videos. And those are the things that we do, but also sometimes full sponsored videos, dedicated ones. And people usually just email us. And that's how we just try to see, okay, what is interesting for our audience. And we do try to vet our sponsorships.
For sure.
We try not to ever promote something that we haven't personally tried or believe in, because we find that trust very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then there's been lots of times where, a brand might come to us, whether it's a game to be tested or a product that just doesn't resonate with our audience. It's not something that they we feel that they are going to either get some, valid information or, some interest out of. So we don't do product advertising, if you want to call it that, with everything that comes to us. We're picky, but I think that's important. You want to make sure you find talent that is kind of, around the niche market that you're trying to promote.
Yeah, like content creators usually they have built some kind of credibility already with their audience. So audiences usually trust their opinions just because that credibility is already built and the trust as well. So I think that's probably the benefit of working with us, or am I biased here?
No, that's for sure.
Yeah. So maybe we can talk a little bit more about your processes. How do brands, like you talked about that a little bit, but a little bit further after that, how do you format your whole episode?
Well, it depends. Like if we're doing like a news segment, maybe our podcast is kind of based around current events. So whether it's relative news or games that are being launched, or just news in general about XR events, we'll bring in a developer or maybe someone in the industry, or someone who's doing something cool in VR or XR. And it depends. We may bring them in right away so that we can talk about it throughout the show, or we'll talk about maybe parts of the news that may pertain to that kind of product or game or something, and then bring them in on the show afterwards. It really depends on what we're doing.
Yeah. And for you?
I mean, I usually try to make a draft and then I'll send it to the client. They'll get back to me and if they approve it or not.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, so I do 3 drafts before we submit it, if they need 3 drafts. And, it depends on what they want. I think having a more creative process ends up getting higher clicks and more engagement on the video, which will lead to better sales instead of like a set thing you have to say.
Yeah.
I've worked with some clients where they need you to say something in a specific way, and I feel like that's
points.
it's hard to make that authentic. So I think having a more like open
Creative freedom for the creator
freedom
is important.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And is that something you ask them to give you, or?
They'll when they come to me, sometimes they say, you have to say this exact sentence or plug something in an exact way. But if they give me total creative freedom, I feel like it ends up just doing better for them and for me as well. So.
Yeah, I can imagine, because you make the really funny
Yeah.
videos. They're sometimes really random.
Of course.
So I guess you can't always script those, right?
Yeah. It's,
What's your creative process on
what's
that?
my creative process?
Yeah.
Try not to break your legs.
Try not to break my leg. That got 2 million views.
Yeah.
So think
She
about
broke her
it.
leg on camera.
I did break my leg on camera. I
Little
was
bit
playing
of
Beat Saber
context
with my
here.
feet. And
Oh
wearing,
yeah.
She was playing Beat
So I
Saber.
have this haptic suit that produces electric shocks and electrocutes while you're in VR. So I was doing that and playing Beat Saber with my feet, and I fractured my foot.
Oh no. I don't know what I should not laugh.
But think of them.
But I guess a lot of people found this funny, or.
It wasn't funny for me. I was walking around Vegas and that was terrible.
Yep.
But that wasn't a sponsored thing, or was it?
Oh, I wish it was. No, that wasn't sponsored.
Wow, that's cool. I think I saw that video. It was really good, though.
Oh,
Despite everything.
glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. I laughed. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess we also try to do the same thing, but with hardware reviews, or we try not to do sponsored reviews, but when it's first impressions, they always have talking points, and it's kind of struggle to get them to give us that creative freedom.
Yeah.
So I feel like we always have to, when I do a sponsorship deal with a company, it takes so much effort to finally get to that point where we can get started. For us, I have to email them back and forth the whole time, because sometimes they don't even tell me what their campaign goals are.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you're being approached, or if you're approaching content creators in general, you want to make sure it's a seamless, easy to understand process.
Yeah.
There's clear objectives, a clear expectation, a clear timeline.
Exactly.
Because the back and forth can take so much time. And usually when you're going to a creator for a specific video, whether it's on a hardware or game or whatever, you know that creator. Like you've come across them somehow, so you kind of know what you're going to be getting in return. So give them that creative freedom. A lot of times when we're doing videos and then we have to submit them for review and then make a 3-second edit, it sounds like 3 seconds, but that's hours of work to kind of reconfigure and retweak and re-edit a video. It takes a long time. So if we had, when we do get the contracts and they're very, very laid out nicely, it makes our job so much easier. The whole relationship works way better.
Yeah, and sometimes the timeline can be like very short.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's probably like, okay, we have this product, it's launching in 2 weeks. You please make a video on it. And it's just not possible. Not for me, at least. I'm not sure if it's the same for you guys.
It'll depend on what other projects we have in the pipeline or something. But yeah, 2 weeks is very short to shoot video, create video, edit everything, put music to it, write a script if you're going to do a scripted type of video. It's a lot of work.
So how much time would you prefer? Like how long beforehand should you know?
I think 3 or 4 weeks is plenty. Depends on the product. Too, I think if it's a game, that's pretty reasonable. If it's hardware, I'd like to get the hardware and then spend a lot of time in the hardware. So
Exactly.
to do a review in 2 weeks means I have to kind of put everything on hold so that I can put hours into testing the product. So when I do the review, I know what I'm talking about. So it's definitely beneficial to have a lot of time for us to do that kind of work.
Yeah. Is that the same for short form content?
I can usually bang it out, unless it's a hardware thing. I can usually do it in like a week for like a game or something.
Okay.
That's great.
That's still a pretty long time.
Yeah,
right?
for longer videos, because I do long form content too. I usually want like 2 to 3 weeks, but
So how long are your shorts, generally?
like 30 seconds to a minute.
So to give you an idea, it's 1 or 2 week lead time for her to do a 30-second video. So when you're looking at long term and you want an 8-10 minute video, we need a lot of time.
Yeah. It takes me about 3 days to script, and then 2 more days to record everything. And
Right, because
edit
once you've
everything.
scripted everything and you start recording, you don't want to sound like you're scripted. So
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
it's recording after recording after recording to make it sound like you're fluent in what you're talking about and not just reading off a teleprompter or something.
Yeah. And how much time does the podcast take to prepare?
That varies by week as well. A lot of times, if we don't have a guest on, then we do a meeting every week with our patrons. So on Mondays or Tuesday nights, we'll spend an hour or 2 with all of our patrons. They can come into a Discord call, and they can put in their input as to what they think that we should maybe talk about this week. And whether or not we talk about that is up to Eric and myself, but it helps to get the community to also give us what it is in the news that they're interested in. Helps us to kind of guide what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. That's very cool to interesting to hear about the processes here. What about reach? Do you guys have any trouble with communicating to brands about reach?
I don't know. You go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Like you mean, not really.
Because we are in such a niche audience.
Yeah, I mean,
Do they-
I usually do like a flat rate per, video, but sometimes I've reached out and I'll work with people who want, they'll pay like a certain amount per 100,000 views or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do either one. I mean, it's
What
hard to, go ahead.
What about you guys?
Well, I feel like it's sometimes a bit hard to explain that we are in such a niche community and that a niche audience is pretty valuable. But the brands just take all the content creators into one basket or something. So yeah, I do feel like we also have to explain that sometimes.
Yeah, I think so too. Like especially if you're comparing, going back to games, if you're doing game reviews, comparing a VR game reviewer to a flat game reviewer is extremely different.
Yeah.
But the amount of views or clicks or likes or whatever you might get would be obviously less than a flat game, but it's a dedicated audience that we're going after. So that could turn into more sales, more clicks, more likes or whatever for your product at the same time.
Yeah, and talking about that, because you mentioned the views, what do you guys do when certain views are not met for the brands. That's
Run away crying.
is that something that would, like, do you promise them the views?
I
or-
don't promise views. No, I mean, no, I've never promised views because it varies so much and there's really no control. I mean, you can do as much as we can do, but
Exactly.
it's
We're in the same situation. We don't promise views. Like we have all of our analytics of previous videos, whether it's a hardware video or a game review or an experience or something. And we can show that as what is a potential, but to guarantee views is difficult.
I know, right?
Very
But I
difficult.
feel like some brands, they do like
They
expect something,
they expect
and then
that, yeah.
it does put a lot of
We're
pressure.
also giving them a video that they can, I mean, they have full rights to whatever they want
Yeah.
to do with it, so.
Yeah,
They can
that's
play it, that's
true.
ads. And, some companies will also have ads then on the content creator's video to push it out more, at least on TikTok, to get a boost on that, to get more reach.
Yeah, I do feel like that's a good one, because I feel like a lot of brands, they just want some one-off thing with us, like just one video about something. And I feel like that's not always very, it's not a good measurement of how successful the campaign is just by doing a one-off thing, because it can be very dependent on all kinds of factors during that time.
For sure. It could be the time of year, whether, if it's a kid-oriented game and you do your video during school time versus over the summertime, or
Exactly. Yeah.
hardware around the Christmas season always does better. It's definitely better to do, like a bundle of things than just
Yeah.
one video. Yeah.
Like a long-term thing as well.
Yeah, building a relationship with that creator.
Yeah.
That always helps too, because then when your next thing or your next big thing, your product comes out, you've got like a pocket full of creators that you've already trusted with one project. It's a lot easier to go back to those same creators and say, okay, I just need this, fire this one out, or
Yeah.
the conversation changes.
Yeah, I also think it doesn't need to be just one platform, because yeah, you do the podcast, you do TikTok mostly, I think.
I do YouTube.
YouTube as well, yeah. But we are mainly on YouTube, but there's so much more that we could do as content creators, because we are usually on all the platforms.
Right.
And even like Insta stories or a Twitter post, or maybe even like
Live streaming.
help hosting stuff. There's so much more we could provide, right?
For sure.
Are there any other things that you guys provide next to podcasts or?
I do like a bundle, so I'll cross-post it on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, sometimes live stream too for like one price to try and get more reach for whatever they want.
Is that something that the brands will ask you, or do you
No,
provide
I
them?
provide them like the full bundle thing.
Nice.
So.
Thank you.
Same, we offer a bunch of bundles because we've got, like when we live stream or when we do our podcast, we go to Spotify, Anchor, everywhere. Our podcast is live, so we don't pre-record it and edit it, so we do it live. And when it's live, it goes to Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all at the same time, all to everywhere. Like it's amazing. And then after the podcast, those live on in those platforms. So they, the next day we might get more views than we got live because it's still alive on Twitter, it's still alive on Facebook, it's still alive on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's
people
also-
can always go back to those episodes.
And I also
very
think there's like a lot of awesome VR games that just aren't getting the audience they deserve because nobody knows about it. So that's where we come in to
Do
help
something
Level
silly.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, to just share more, like,
yeah, get some reach and get people playing the game.
yeah, awareness. Yeah, that's true. And I guess we do that too. We have like a bundle of stuff that we could do, but maybe some things that brands maybe don't think about often, at least with us. But you mentioned it already, just putting sponsored ads from the platform onto
Yeah.
the videos. So the brand will pay for ads on the platform. So it will generate like sponsored views. What is it called, sponsored then? Or?
I don't know what it's called, but that might even boost it organically too. So after
Yeah,
it's that
exactly.
initial boost, then-
And that could be like, that could be a separate thing that we could offer as well. Like,
For sure.
we'll make user-generated content for you that they could use for their own marketing efforts as well.
That's right.
but also post it on our platform, and then they can put some ads on there.
Right.
Those kind of things we try to do more often now too. And I think also hosting, right? Not all of the things that we've been doing lately.
So hosting, live streaming, like for the two of us, that's a good thing because we're always together.
Like hosting on their Discord, for example.
Oh, okay.
Like
Or
hosting, interviewing.
their platforms.
Yeah.
Their social media pages, for example.
That's cool. Do you guys do like AMAs or
Yeah.
anything like that inside like a Discord server for another product?
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
We haven't done that a lot yet, but the first time we did it, we thought, oh, this is a pretty fun thing to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they just had a product, like a software, an app that they wanted to promote. And because we were already making videos on them, so we knew the products really well already. So they asked us to also do an AMA with them.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. That's a great add-on, right? It kind of humanizes the creator. A lot of people watch us, you know, especially you guys. You guys are like uber famous. So when people see you, when people see you in real life, they're like, "Oh my God, it's Gingas!" So to do an AMA or something where you're live talking to their audience, not just your audience, but to their audience, that could go a long way, right?
Yeah, I feel like that could be helpful, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so how about long-term partnerships? Do you guys ever do any of those?
Yeah.
What kind?
I work with, well, I'm working with Riff.
Oh yeah, right.
Well, no, let me plug
Right.
Riff right now. So it's a company that's developing a full AI-generated metaverse VR chat type of thing where you can fight people. But if I really like a game or product, I'll definitely reach out to them and try and work with them more. If it ties into stuff I'm doing, which is like AI stuff and open world type of games. So I don't know. What about you guys?
Yeah, we've done the same too. Most notably, I think the developer Combat Waffle Studios. We've done a lot of things with the Ghost of Tabor game that they launched, right
Right,
from
yeah.
helping them with their community to doing live events with them and having them on the podcast all the time. You know, whenever there's big news, we always like to go back to these guys that we really like and say, you know, anytime you have a news or an update or a patch or whatever and you want to talk about it, you're more than welcome to come on the podcast or we'll do a live stream or we'll do an AMA with you or whatever.
So you guys just became like brand ambassadors for them?
Yeah, I would say that.
Oh, that's cool. So
Maybe unofficial, but
nice, but I think because that is definitely more, like if you promote the product more consistently over a longer time, you can also reach more people from
for
your
sure.
own audience, but also just, yeah, kind of embodies brand values over time as well.
What about you?
How about us? So I do think like campaigns are pretty good things to do as well. Like instead of like a one-off, do like a campaign for like 6 months. And then like a few things during that time. It doesn't have to be a video. It can be like posts on socials. It can be like a live stream or EMA.
Yeah.
I think those kind of things work pretty well as well.
Yeah, and then you can kind of, because if you do it like on a longer time period, there are like certain times where they also have like milestones that they want to get out there, like launches or pre-launches or whatever they have nowadays. And you can kind of like align with those same dates as well, which could be really powerful.
I think extending that marketing reach, right? Like if you were going to promote a video game or something and you had your creator create one video and dropped it on the day of release, well, everybody drops a video on the day of release. To maybe employ that same creator to create 3 videos and do it every couple of weeks, including day of release, just so that there's, you know, continued brand awareness, maybe a patch that's come out to fix some bugs that were there at launch, or new updates or DLCs or whatever the case may be.
Exactly, yeah. And also, it takes a lot less time for us to make more videos than just one video, because that one just takes a longer time, and the rest will be a little bit easier usually.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, so I still have a couple of points here. For example, social proof. seeing the content creator use and endorse your product provides social proof, making potential customers more likely to trust and purchase from your brand. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that goes back to picking the right creator. Trying to sell a billiards game to a creator that does AI generated funny stuff and breaks your leg might not be the best fit. But if you could
break my other leg.
You could break your other leg. But focusing on the right creator to do the right job, I think, helps with that social proofing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, it's also the kind of personality that the person can have, which can really fit a brand. Because some brands, they have this also have personalities, and those have to kind of fit as well. So I think you're right about that.
For sure.
Do you find that as well?
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. I think, if your brand connects with the type of content the creator is making, it's definitely going to do better. I wouldn't do, my content is not really very child friendly, so.
That's a really good example, though, right?
I don't know. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but.
Like kids' toys?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do kids' toys unless I could break my leg.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, alcohol, for us, alcohol brands, those kind of things, so also maybe not so.
Yeah, right. If they don't
cute.
fit with, you don't expect to find your favorite creator, go to them with your product, and them just to say yes, I think is the bottom line. The creator and yourself needs to create a relationship. So whether or not that's because they like what you're doing, they believe in what you're doing, or you believe in what they're doing with their audience, I think there needs to be some sort of mesh, or the relationship isn't going to work, the content will fail.
Yeah.
And we as creators kind of realize that, especially after doing it for so long, so we do turn away content because they just don't flush with what we're doing.
Exactly, and I do feel like there's a lot of companies who use agencies who kind of blast spam creators, and they just try to get as many creators as possible to just make something, and it doesn't even have to match. Sometimes we get such random products that people want us to promote.
Rage Shadow Legends.
Yeah, exactly. And that's even a game, but we've had rare products. I can't even think of anything right now, like a massage chair or something. Super random.
They've come to you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's
actually
not
admit,
knowing
though,
your market.
It sometimes can also be an opportunity because then you have a match without knowing. Sometimes it's a product you would never expect that can match with VR, and then you think of use case and you're like, hey, it can sometimes be something good.
Yeah, maybe for example, routers, you wouldn't maybe think that would benefit a VR audience, but routers and VR streaming could be a thing.
Could totally go hand in hand, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. Yeah, so let's see what we have here. Cost effectiveness is also a talking point here. They say, compared to traditional advertising, content creator marketing can be more cost effective?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's more effective. So many people today are on social media, use their phones. So, what's a traditional ad, like a TV ad for a VR game? I don't think that's going to do very good.
True, that must be really expensive.
How many people are watching cable?
Yeah, right. Traditional ads I see as newsprint, billboards, television ads, maybe even a radio spot.
Exactly,
Those are definitely not things I think are ideal for our niche of VR game.
Sure. I mean, it's hard enough to explain what VR is like on a flat video.
Try to do that over the radio.
Yeah,
It's definitely difficult.
or billboards.
Or a billboard. Yeah.
That wouldn't help. So, but I have no idea what those things cost, but I guess that's...
Yeah, I don't have any background in standard regular old marketing, but I would imagine that the cost per view on a niche market creator that's targeting everyone that is focused on your market has to be better than just putting it on the radio on everybody's car.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even think that follower counts matter that much.
Yeah. And even, being in this industry so long, we get emails I'm going to say 100 a day, and that might be a little exaggeration, but maybe not, of flat games that people send us to do reviews. And I don't have any flat gamers that watch our shows or watch our podcasts that I'm aware of. It just seems like such a missed niche. Like, why would you send a VR game to somebody who streams Call of Duty? You just wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. And like, I also always have to explain that views don't necessarily equal influence. So if you find someone like us for a VR game, we already fed like our stuff. And so we only promote the stuff that we really think is good and believe in. So like maybe we could like for 10 views, we could get like 5 sales instead of someone who does regular gaming and has 1 million views, but maybe because he doesn't do VR and doesn't have a lot of people with VR headsets, so it doesn't make as much sales. So maybe the return on investment is better, but this, right?
For sure, yeah.
And content creation. So I was wondering about this. Are you guys all content creators by nature? Or
Well, I have a day job. I don't do this full time. I run an IT company that I've run for 17 years. I've been in corporate IT for almost 30 years. And I also work for a VR marketing company, Impact Reality, which most of you probably know. I run the Impact Labs part of that, the playtesting groups. So content creation is something that I strive to do. I would love to do full time, but it's definitely a hard, genre to kind of get into because we're so niche.
Yeah,
It makes it much more difficult.
but how long have you been doing creation?
We've been doing it with Q2C since I think 2019. We started the Facebook group,
Okay.
and we used to just do things on Facebook, and then moved into YouTube in 2020 maybe.
Yeah, so it has to come by nature now.
Yeah, so now it's definitely less work than it was, and even the message to new creators out there is it definitely gets easier as time goes on, but it is a lot of work when you first start out.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think we were all there. Were you also?
I started in 2019. I wasn't really doing YouTube until 2020 though. I used to make mods for
Mods?
Fallout and Skyrim, so I was doing that for a long time, just for fun.
Genghis has a complete mod of all
Yeah,
kinds of
so-
mods that you can download.
That I knew.
For Fallout, I made an
for
overhaul
Fallout.
for
I
that.
didn't know that that was your.
Yeah, I did that at the start of 2019, partly to get more interest in my YouTube channel, because I was trying to niche down and find a topic that no one was doing content on. At that time, it was Fallout. So I did that. Six years-ish.
Okay, so you never really did any content creation like videos
Not
before
before
starting?
then. I was doing VR stuff back in 2014, but I wasn't recording or anything.
Okay, but how did you guys get so good at what you do? It's like just learning on the.
Hours and hours and hours.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. That's my wife. It's hours and hours.
I think it's the same for us.
Yeah.
We started in 2016,
Yeah, 2016.
almost 7 years.
Yeah, so at first we did like in the evenings and the weekends. I do think like once Cas went full time, it really was a good thing for the channel.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have experience either in
Yeah.
creating content. We learned as we went as well. I used to be a software developer, so this has nothing to do with content creation. But I guess the point is, I want to say that after several years, you do learn it, and you get like this your own style. And I feel like creators are really good at making content engaging because you kind of have to learn how to do it for the algorithm and just getting the clicks, getting the views, right? So I think that would also be very beneficial for brands to work with content creators because we have that knowledge.
Definitely. Trying to create your own videos, I think, would be a struggle as a developer.
Yeah.
There are definitely professionals out there that can help you with that. So
Yeah.
reach out to content creators.
Work with us more. Do we still have anything else? Because I think we do have enhanced brand personality. And it says all Gingas here.
This is,
What's it say there?
No, it just said humanizing your brands, like content creators can
Are you
infuse
calling me
personality. We put this as a joke in there because you are really good at bringing that personality into your content.
Are you saying I have a personality?
Well, it's just, you make it, I don't know, you make it like, you exaggerate, you do that, but it makes it relatable, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know.
you're far too humble.
Yeah.
You're very good at the crazy, funny stuff that most of us don't have the.
Yeah, there's even story, like it's everything, and it comes natural, or is it something
least
that
it looks
you,
like it's
I just
natural.
don't. I just don't think about it.
you don't think about it, you just,
No, I just try to find the most random weird thing I can do and just do it.
Like, I think you even had one video where you had a haptic suit on and
Yeah.
two
I
haptic
two
suits.
haptics.
two haptic
And
suits.
full body
Over-
tracking. And I don't know what else I was doing. I bought a pogo stick, so I was gonna do that while playing.
At the same time.
Yeah. I don't know. I bought like a dance pole and I did that with everything while wearing.
I think I saw that.
That's awesome.
I love that.
I don't know. I guess I like to find stuff that hasn't been done before and do it.
How do you find those stuff? What's your process in that?
I do a Google search, and if it comes up,
It works.
I make a list and I say, not that.
You are just talented and you just know what to do.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's a lot of trial and error. Not everything is going to work out.
I think that's it.
I get like low views or videos that flop, and I just move on. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, because you've done so much, you made so many videos, you will learn how to do it eventually, right?
Yeah, I think it's you just keep throwing rocks at the wall, and one of them is going to work out.
True. Yeah, I think creators are, especially like your kind of content, can really infuse personality into brands.
Yeah, it can make a somewhat boring game maybe extremely enjoyable to the point where people are now clicking and buying because I didn't know I could use a pole dancing pole in Skyrim.
I know.
Now I know.
Exactly.
You can use that in any game.
Oh, sorry.
And it doesn't always have to be like really funny and random. I mean, with the podcasts and your experience probably with IT could also bring that personality in there because not everyone wants to watch random stuff.
That's true. Yeah,
And
that's-
some people want more serious, more context or more information.
I think the podcast helps with that, where it helps us get the information out in our way. You know, if you haven't seen our podcast, people have compared us to how Howard Stern kind of does his with humor. You know, we do swear on the show.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Nice.
We've been demonetized a few times just for little things, playing music we probably shouldn't, but it's totally worth it because the audience loves it. And
Yeah.
if we're pushing a product or pushing a game or something, it's all about the person watching.
I love that.
That's
I love
most
that you can dissect the whole product or app or whatever. How long are your episodes? An hour?
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Wow. So then you can really get into it and
Yep.
get all the details. I guess we are more in between you guys. Like, our videos are usually between 10 and 15 minutes, but I try to I have a full script, and those are usually like an hour long if I read it,
Right.
and then I try to make it more compact.
We do those too. We do like regular game reviews or product reviews and stuff like that, and those are around. You know, ideally, I think as a creator, any 7 to 10 minutes is kind of like the perfect bubble. Anything longer than that, the audience, we may get more information of your product into the video, but the audience isn't watching anymore. So we try to get it as quick as possible.
Cool. It was very interesting learning about how you all do these kind of things. And I think we have like 12 minutes left, so maybe we can open up for questions. Or do you guys want to talk about anything else?
No, yeah, if anybody has any questions. Oh, Adam's running. Can't really see.
Hi,
Hi.
Hi.
my name is Celine. I'm the creator of a hand tracking game called Masters of Light, just released.
I love it.
Thank you, Gingas, for a very fronting video you did for us. Thank you, Impact Realities, for being our partner, and the Impact Reality Lab. That was super helpful to get feedback. So thank you guys for all of this. I have two questions, but I'll ask only one. One very quick one, because I'm not sure I understood. For example, if a content creator posts a video on TikTok, for example, we can actually ask that content creator, like, hey, can we boost this and pay? Oh, awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So on
I didn't know.
TikTok, you can actually generate.
Yeah, you can boost the views. It's
Do we have to go
sarcastic.
through you, or can we actually? Okay.
Me or I work with agencies too. So.
Oh yeah, that's possible, but they need your permission to.
I just have to give them a code.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, we can give you a code and then you can boost it yourself.
On YouTube, it's different though.
Yeah.
YouTube, there's no. Yeah. Well, you just ask the content creator to help you boost it, and we
Okay.
can just turn it on in the back end.
Sweet. Okay, thank you. My real question was, of course, for us, conversion is the one thing that matters the most, and it's kind of a black box when you publish on Meta. Like the marketing attribution really sucks. Like the dashboard, we don't know where those conversions are coming from. I mean, we have a rough idea, but so what kind of data can you provide for example, if you put on YouTube and you can put the link towards the game, do you track those clicks and can you give us this information back? Of course, we don't know if it's going to convert into sales or not, but this information is very useful to us.
I think that's hard to do because it's very platform dependent. Like
It can be done. You can use, like if you're using an agency or something to do it for you, like with my management guy, we use like bit.ly leaks or links or something like that, something that we can track to show exactly how many times people have clicked that link in our video as opposed to all videos, or trying to use the meta backend because that, like you say, is not very good.
But then you get the stats on view.
And then we would get
not
the stats
conversion.
on who clicks the link. Whether or
Yeah.
not they buy it or not is up to Meta's algorithm. But
Yeah.
So you have to go through like bit.ly, for example.
something like that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Adam. I have more of a creator-to-creator question, and this is about like bad products, and not the products that you get the emails, dear sir, Madame, would you like to try our makeup? And clearly you're a VR people, but the products that you're like, oh, this thing actually looks cool, and maybe they send it to you for free, maybe they are willing to sponsor you to make content, but then you try it and it's pretty bad. I know this is more of a personal preference. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but do you guys rather just not cover the thing at all and decide to not be sponsored and maybe send the product back? Or would you rather make an honest review, but it's not favorable towards the product, despite having gotten the thing for free or maybe been paid for it?
This just happened to me, so it's ironic that you're bringing this up, but it was more of a flat game kind of a product that also works in VR, is what I was told. So they sent me this product, and it did not work as advertised. Actually, I couldn't make it work at all, and the conversation was back to the developer, like, do you want me to send this back to you? I'll give you back whatever money you gave me. I'm not going to show this to my audience.
Yeah.
So.
That happened to me too. I got a product to review and it didn't work at all. I tried for like 2 weeks, and then I ended up just sending it back. I would have preferred to tell people about it, but they sent it to me for free, and
Oh, I think sometimes we do that, we send them back, provide them feedback, but it really depends on the products. If it's like a product, like a VR headset that's very popular, then I think we would feel a bit obligated to make the review, and then,
Right.
yeah.
We've done that with some games that have come to us and said, hey, can you do a review of our game? And, I'm not going to publicly blow up a video game or something, but it would be an honest review that it may not be as advertised.
Oh, and don't get us wrong, like sponsored reviews are still honest, but
Yeah, for sure. I think that goes back to trusting your creator. If you see a creator promoting a product that other creators have said is terrible, then it might not be the creator for you.
yeah, exactly. And sometimes you can also default to maybe posting on social media instead about the product, yeah.
Hi there. My name's Austin. I do product marketing with enterprise software. One thing that differentiates you all as creators from other YouTubers or social media creators is the fact that you can effectively distill 3D or immersive experiences on a 2D screen. And my question to you is, what are some best practices you found in your time experimenting of ways to effectively create these human experiences, whether it's through scripting or the amount of product footage, human interactions, or even just the emotional storytelling to your audiences?
Great question. I think it depends on the project, but it's gone from just recording yourself talking over top of the VR thing that you're talking about to developing your own studio in your home now with green screens and lighting and live with shout out to Live. So you can actually put yourself into these VR experiences and VR games to make it more authentic. It is difficult to kind of portray that 3D view, like you say, on a 2D screen. But I think if it's done correctly, it can work really, really well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different styles. I use a camera in mine, and then I put the footage below that on my videos. But other people, they'll have like a green screen, and I think that's a good way to portray VR stuff.
Yeah.
Or the way that Valve used to do it back when they were selling the HTC Vive, where we would have this huge studio, and have people like actively picking up stuff with like a green screen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely difficult to portray like VR in a 2D flat screen video. But I think it already helps if you want to do it more simple to just show the person doing the movements so people can know like what they're doing, and it's spatial, it's not just a flat thing. But it's really hard. But yeah, these are great tips.
Cool.
You don't even have to show a camera. I mean, there are a lot of creators that just show the footage. And I think if it's engaging content, people are going to like it anyways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a quick question. I've been getting offered to build content for companies in tech. The question I have for you guys is, what are your biggest tips to someone who's probably about to start? And by tips, I mean like things that now that y'all been doing this for a while, you would say, okay, these are things you should really prioritize and execute. That way, not only are you providing value, but you can keep constantly getting more clients and even higher paid clients.
I would say one of the most important things is to collect user feedback while you're building the product, making sure that you're building it for the users. I think that's a very important one.
And you're a creator, you said?
I have 4 companies. I work with them contracting as a developer. But since I do video work, they basically like, hey, we'll pay you. We have budgeted this much for someone to make content around our product.
I think it goes back to the hours and hours and hours comment I made earlier. It's difficult to find your stride, I think. A lot of trial and error. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. I think, to me anyway, scripting and reading off a script is never good. I always use like bullet points and then have a more natural conversation about whatever it is I'm doing a review on or a play test or whatever it is that I'm doing, just to kind of make it more human and less advertising.
I have another question.
Sure.
I don't know. So it's about that relationship between devs and content creator, and I think this is really interesting what you say about that. And for me, the content creators who did stuff on my game will have a special place in my heart, and I kind of want to keep that communication going. So how much is too much? Because obviously you don't want to be pushy or anything, but like, do you like to hear back from dev that you worked with in the past, like, oh, there is an update to the game, or things like, oh, by the way, we are planning on releasing a next game. Like, do you want this communication, or is it just too much because you're dealing with too many things and too many people?
Well, we love the communication.
Yeah.
We especially love
Love it.
having,
I love it.
yeah, one-on-one emails from developers are the best. Just keeps us updated, and yeah, we can always just filter the emails. And
It fosters that relationship too. That far too often we just get ChatGPT emails.
No.
yeah, for
All
sure.
the time.
And it's so easy to
So
recognize
to
them.
get a genuine email from a developer, especially one that we've worked with in the past, is always welcomed,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right, thank you.
I think we have one more?
Hi guys, great chat. I'm Katie, Head of Marketing at Ultraleap. I'm really keen to hear from all of you. Sounds like you've got great communities built across numbers of channels out there. I'd love to know what channels are performing best for you right now, what type of content is performing best for you.
You want to start?
Me?
I mean, I can start. You're talking about like platforms, like which.
Yeah.
So for me, these days, it's Instagram is doing a lot better than TikTok. Weirdly enough, it varies though. I mean, I think with the word on the TikTok ban, that might be a reason why.
Yeah, definitely the politics of things definitely changes where the content focus should be.
It's also very rare for video, at least for me, to do well on every single platform. Like I'll video do well on Instagram and do bad on YouTube or TikTok, and then it'll do well on TikTok and do bad on other platforms. So.
And it kind of changes over time as well, right? That all kinds of factors could change, like what is popular at the moment. But I think for us, like games are less popular for us now, but more hardware at the moment.
Yeah, and bundling it, I think, is smart. And I know you guys do this as well, is when you're contacting them to make a video, approach them and say, I want a TikTok video, I want a Twitch live stream, if that's doable, I want a YouTube video, let's do a segment on your podcast or whatever. That we can stretch it over multiple platforms and try to hit all the markets.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for we're finished.
Yeah, thank you. Are we out of time?